What up? What up? What up? What up? Fly Free Sports. We back in the building with another one. You know what time it is. UFC 319 is tonight. Doing this buzzer beater show, man. Like I always say when I do these buzzer beaters, never better late than never. Excuse me. Better late than never on the picks and predictions. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it. Pretty good card tonight. You know what I mean? Um, I like what the UFC did with this one. Starting off the evening, of course, I'm just doing the main card. Um, Starting off the evening, we got Tim Elliott coming in at 21-13-1 against Kai Asakura, 21-5. Kai came into the UFC under extreme circumstances, title shot off the rip. He was very hyped as a fighter. Um, just he fought what some would call one of the best flyweights in the history of the sport. Of course, Alexandre Pantoja. Didn't go well for Kai in that fight, but it doesn't go well for many people against Alexandre Pantoja. Keeping it real. Still, I think Kai is a very, very talented fighter, very impressive. This will be his second UFC fight against a journeyman like Tim Elliott. He should be able to get it done. No disrespect to Tim Elliott. I know he's a BJJ black belt, very experienced fighter. I just think Kai will be too much for him, and I have Kai winning this fight in a first round KO. I think he sparks him. I think he'll regain some of that momentum he had coming into the UFC, live up to some of the hype. You know, I don't know what this win really does for Kai in the overall, spectrum of the division because Tim Elliott's not like really a big name. So we'll see what Kai does next after this fight. But I do have him winning in a first round KO. Sparking. On to the second fight of the evening. Oh man, it's a good one. Jared Cannonier coming out of the MMA lab. Everybody know I fuck with the lab. Jared Cannonier coming in 18-8. Michael Venom Page needs no introduction. Legend in the MMA game, over from Bellator. He's the one guy I do trust from Bellator. 23-3. He's 2-1 in the UFC with wins over Shara Bullet Magomedov and Kevin Holland. His lone loss is to Ian Gary in a very, very competitive back and forth that they had, might I add. Michael Venom Page is a monster, man. I think first of all, shout out. I don't never want to I'm gonna keep it real. I don't never want to disrespect none of my lab guys. For those that don't know, I know I mentioned the lab a lot, but the MMA lab is a gym out in Phoenix, Arizona, where a lot of high level fighters came out of, and my favorite fighter came out of. He started at. So, yeah. Shout out to the MMA lab. I just think Michael Venom Page would be too much for Jared at this stage of his career. Jared is 41 years old now, getting a little long in the tooth, man. You know what I mean? Pause for the young niggas. Jared Cannonier, if he can figure out how to get takedowns against a very rangy fighter and Michael Venom Page, he'll have some success, but I don't see that happening. I think Michael Venom Page picks him apart, keeps him at range. Of course, the flashy style with the kicks, the long striking, the lunging. Very, very fast, even still at this advanced age. I think Michael Venom Page gets the job done, man. I don't think he finishes him, but I think he has a decisive, unanimous decision. So I'm going with Michael Venom Page. Third fight of the evening, very good one. Jeff Neal, the vet, coming in, I think, at 16-6. Yeah, 16-6 against Carlos Prates of the Fighting Nerds. Of course, Prates coming off that loss to Ian Gary as well. But a very, very competitive fight. Again, Prates looked good. He came on late in that fight, but it was too little too late. Waited too late to step on the gas. I don't think he'll have that problem, even against a vet like Jeff Neal, who's game and can beat anybody on any given night. He's just one of those guys. But I think Prates gets the job done. I think Prates gets the job done via second round TKO. We're gonna go second round TKO for Carlos Prates. I think he bounces back from his first UFC loss in style. You dig? Next fight, Lerone Murphy, undefeated, coming in at 16-0-1 against, here we go again, Aaron Pico, another Bellator guy making their debut. I told you niggas, I said it once, I'm gonna say it again. I'm not putting no stock into no Bellator niggas, especially in their first fight in the UFC, and especially in this case against an undefeated fighter in the featherweight division. I don't see it happening. I know Aaron Pico is very, very talented, but Lerone Murphy will get the job done. It's just I can't do it. It's not much to break down, but I do think Lerone Murphy, the striking, the accuracy, I think he will end up winning this fight. I do have it going to a decision, unanimous decision, but I do think Lerone Murphy gets the job done. These Bellator niggas got to prove themselves, and if I'm wrong in this fight, oh well. They just got to show me. You know what I mean? It's at that level right now. But Lerone Murphy gets the win. And for the main event of the evening, as Bruce Buffer would say, Dricus du Plessis coming in at 23-3, the champ, against Khamzat Chimaev, a guy who has been feared in the UFC. A lot of people have not wanted to fight Khamzat. Relentless pressure, you know his style. He undefeated in the UFC, 14-0. I don't know if I mentioned that. Yeah, Khamzat is a fucking animal, you know, relentless pace for as long as he can hold it. He's only really been tested one time, and that I can remember, in that Gilbert Burns fight where Gilbert Burns found his chin a few times. And, you know, he really showed what he was made of in that fight to me. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to just dominate motherfuckers, but when you face a little adversity, we see who you are as a fighter. And that night, Khamzat showed himself to be a very, very game fighter as well. Of course, Dricus du Plessis, the guy that everybody counts out every single time, and every single time it feels like he delivers a win. Very awkward, unorthodox, but very, very fast, strong. I think that's a hard combination for other fighters to deal with. When you're that strong and that fast and you're that awkward, I think that presents a lot of problems for a lot of fighters, especially in the stand-up game. We saw that with Robert Whittaker. Drake is just, you know, he has a very, very good gas tank. He shows what he could get to these later rounds. He still has the energy to hold himself up and still do well. And I think that's the only challenge I think he presents to a guy like Khamzat. I don't think Khamzat is too worried about Dricus being unorthodox, because Khamzat only fights one way. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna come straight at you, go for the takedown. And another prediction I have for this fight is Khamzat will take Dricus du Plessis down within the first 20 seconds of this fight. He's just gonna do it. He's gonna come out shooting like a fucking madman. That's what Khamzat does. You know what I mean? He's just pressure the whole fucking fight. You know what I mean? So I expect to see that early on. The question will be, how many times is Dricus able to get back up to his feet? You know, in the past, we've seen DDP be able to get back to his feet. And like I said, in the later rounds, he still carries a gas tank to hold out in those later rounds. Will Khamzat, or does it get there? Because my prediction for the fight is, I think Khamzat gets a second round sub. Whether it's Darce, whether it's a guillotine, whether it's rear naked choke, you name it, one of those subs he will lock in the second round. And I think that will be good night for DDP. And the new champion of the world at middleweight will be Khamzat Boris Chimaev. What it is.